I have always loved taking walks early in the morning when the dawn light is still faint and the cool air helps clear my mind. I am a carpenter and have been in this profession for over 30 years. Currently, I live alone in a small wooden house deep in a dense forest with only my border collie, Milo, for company. The house is not large, but it feels empty since my wife, Anna, passed away from heart disease a few years ago. My children left home long ago, and ever since Anna's passing, it has just been me and Milo. One morning, after finishing the repair of a long table for a neighbor, I decided to go outside for some fresh air. The forest surrounding my house is the perfect place for a walk. The silence is so profound that every bird song and rustling leaf can be heard clearly. Milo ran and jumped beside me, his eyes shining with joy. Perhaps he loves this life even more than I love him. The path I usually take is very familiar, but that day, as I was heading home, something unusual caught my eye. From the upstairs window, the one overlooking the living room where Anna and I used to sit and talk every night, I thought I saw a shadow moving. I stopped, looked up, and stared. There was no way anyone could be in there. That room had been locked for years, ever since Anna passed away. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Could an intruder have broken into my home? Anger started to rise within me. I would not tolerate this. I hurried inside, gripping my flashlight tightly, and rushed upstairs. But when I opened the door, everything was just as it had always been. The living room was empty, covered in dust, with no signs of any presence. I searched everywhere, but found nothing. A mix of relief and frustration settled in as I wondered if I had just imagined it. However, the unsettling feeling refused to leave me. The next day, I woke up to the low growl of Milo. He rarely barked unless something truly alarmed him. I listened carefully and heard a faint creaking sound from upstairs. It could have just been the old house adjusting to the weather, but my mind immediately pictured footsteps coming from directly above my bedroom. You can probably guess which room is right above mine. I hesitated between grabbing my hunting rifle from downstairs, but in the end, I chose to take my flashlight and check. Again, there was nothing. The room remained as empty as before. However, this time, a sense of unease crept deeper into my thoughts. The next night, I went to the kitchen and found the lights still on. I was certain that I had turned them off before going to bed. This could not be a coincidence. Someone was deliberately playing games with me. I called the police and explained the situation. They came, searched the house from top to bottom, but found nothing suspicious. They politely advised me to report any further issues, but their expressions made it clear they didn't really believe me. The following night was the peak of everything. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to check the living room upstairs once more. I didn't know why I was doing this, perhaps hoping that it would put my mind at ease. But when I pushed the door open, I froze. The furniture was in disarray. Anna's keepsakes and family photos, which I had carefully stored in a box, were now scattered all over the floor. This could not have happened on its own. And then I saw her. A woman stood in the corner of the room, silently staring at me. I couldn't see her face clearly, but I knew for certain that she was not Anna. She was shorter, with a slender frame, but she exuded an eerie presence that sent chills through me. I had never been more terrified in my life. Without thinking, I lunged toward her. She turned and ran, moving incredibly fast down the stairs and out the front door. By the time I reached outside, she had vanished. Milo and I searched everywhere but found no trace of her. From that night on, I lived in constant anxiety. Every small noise startled me. I kept my hunting rifle beside my bed, ready to face whatever was haunting me. Things got even worse when, one night, as I sat in the living room, I noticed a dark figure standing in the yard, staring at me through the window. It was her again. My heart nearly stopped. I grabbed my gun and ran outside, with Milo barking furiously behind me. She remained motionless in the moonlight, watching me. I fired a few warning shots into the air, hoping to scare her away. And at that moment, she turned and disappeared into the darkness. She never appeared again, but I know this is not over. My life has now become a cycle of fear and constant tension. Thankfully, I still have Milo. Without him, I don't know how long I could endure this. I write these words in the hope that my story will help someone understand that sometimes what we see cannot always be explained. And no matter what you face, never forget the value of companionship, especially from a loyal four-legged friend like Milo.